Hey guys, this is Solution Podfic, and today we're going to be reading Who's Old Now by Leah Buzwavi. This is Chapter 6. Khan stared at his phone. He took his sunglasses off, took a deep breath, and looked again. Nope, still there. Unknown number. 5-second video he hadn't dared open. The ominous message of one of us. There could only be one culprit. He picked up on the second ring. Tim, what the fuck? You're gonna have to specify. The sleepy voice of his best friend came through on speakerphone as Khan sat up on the couch at Young Justice. He was going to ignore the fact that the couch is where he slept most days. He didn't exactly have a real home to go to. Unknown number on my phone, you coded. I know you had to have something to do with it. If the video is a rickroll, I swear. Not a rickroll, I gave Jason your number. Khan blinked. He had, of course, heard of the infamous undead on and off again murderers, but has calmed down significantly in the past year, bat vigilante that Tim called a brother. But what the hell would he want with Khan? He hadn't done anything, he thinks. Why? Khan asked, exasperated. Why what? Tim replied. Why does he have my number? Why did he text me? Why does it say one of us? Pretty much any of those things, Tim. Khan could practically hear Tim blink slowly in the way that he did when he was still processing waking up. One of us? Yeah, I think I know why you received that, though I'm not sure he sent you that. It gave him your number to pass along, after all. Khan inhaled, exhaled. Pass along to who? He was fairly sure he was at the end of his admittedly short rope. Watch the video, that might clear things up, Tim suggested. It's 5 seconds long. What the hell could it clear up? Just watch it, dude. Fine. Khan clicked away angrily from the call, leaving it running as he pulled up the text and subsequent video again. He clicked it and waited for barely a moment before the camera opened to Captain Marvel glaring at Superman, who looked rather afraid, and a glowing teenager with no feet hovering over his shoulder. The camera was shaking like the camera person was shivering or resisting the urge to laugh. I'm gonna pull a Batman, the teenager spoke loudly, and then the video ended. Tim? Khan said. Yes? Tim replied far too innocently. That still makes absolutely nothing clear. Who's the kid? Phantom, Captain Marvel's adopted ghost kid. He has a... No, not the point. Was that kid threatening to fight me? Superman? Ban medicine from faucet like Batman does with Gotham? What the hell does pulling a Batman mean? Okay. Yeah, out of context, I could tell that'd be weird. Am I gonna have to be the one to explain this? Man, fuck Jason. I thought Marvel Phantasm and he had it handled. Tim replied disgruntledly. Phantasm who? Phantasm me. Khan shrieked and threw his phone across the room. A white gloved hand was reaching out of his phone screen, which was some kind of Ring horror shit, and seemed to be pulling themselves out of his phone screen. Never mind the young feminine voice that spoke before. Never mind how small the hand that was pulling themselves was. Little ghost girls pulling themselves out of your phone was a fucking horrific nightmare. Khan? Tim asked. Good, the call was still on. Someone would at least hear him before he died. The girl from the ring is going to murder me. Divide my stuff between you, Cass, and Bart. Khan replied, staring in horror as the little head squeezed, then popped through the screen. Not her. She's actually pretty nice once you get to know her. The kid with glowing green eyes and a white ponytail floated like water spoke easily. Like that wasn't a highly disturbing sentence. In a reality-bending move, the kid, Phantasm, pulled herself the rest of the way out of the phone. She squeezed the rest of the way out, and then floated over his phone across the room. She looked over at Khan and grinned a bright smile. Hi. Thanks for opening the video and finally giving me the connection to come meet you. What? Khan asked. Oh, are you Phantasm? You sound younger than I expected. Tim added, sounding unconcerned with Khan's impending murder. Yep. Phantasm picked up Khan's phone and zipped over to him, legs fusing into a wispy tail. Khan looked her over again and compared her to the kid he saw in the video. Phantom. Black and white jumpsuit, wispy tail, glowing green eyes, floating white hair. Extreme similarities to Captain Marvel's kid. Was she another one of his? Why did she want to see him? She stuck her hand out with his phone and grinned cheekily. He noted her fangs. You dropped this. Khan took it back. Thanks, I guess. So, what are you doing here? Khan checked his phone. The call with Tim was still running. I want to ask you to join the club, she asked, floating lazily in the air. He noted the odd way she flew, hardly moving up or down, less like she was flying by concentration, but that it was her normal state of being rather than staying on the ground. What club? The black-haired, blue-eyed, fucked-up age family club. The what? It's for our members ears only, so I'm gonna have to ask you to leave, mystery phone person. Please don't leave, please don't leave, please don't leave, please. Yeah, sure, Tim said before the phone in Khan's hand chimed, indicating that he hung up, leaving him alone, with a small, floating, glowing child staring at him with big, innocent green eyes. So, Khan stopped. Do you want to sit down? He gestured over to this couch. So polite, Phantasm chirped, floating over before sitting down, tail unfurling back into legs. So I get that I'm the guest here, but also the one with the answers. Phantasm pointed finger guns at Con. Fire away. Con inhaled, exhaled, sat down on the couch as well, and decided to start from the top. Alright, so what did the one of us text mean? Phantasm grinned. Well, besides the aforementioned club I meant, and here she grew slightly nervous, twirling the end of her ponytail around her hand. As a fellow clone. Con blinked. You're like me? Phantasm smiled. Yeah, a lot like you. I want to start this off with full honesty, so... White rings swept over Phantasm, starting at her middle and spreading out. The young girl's eyes he had been staring at were now a hoodie-clad chest. He looked into a young woman's blue eyes which sparkled with a sort of nervousness he almost recognized. I'm a half-ghost, the girl, now woman, said, spinning her black ponytail between her fingers. When I was created, I was about the development age of a 12-year-old. It's been 13 years, and I have the physicality and mentality of a 25-year-old. Her nervous smile slanted. My brother/genetic donor jokes that I still act like a 12-year-old. And then I easily beat him with my spice tolerance, and he stops talking about it, she joked. Con just stared. Clone. 12, 13, 25. Turned from white-haired, green-eyed child into black-haired, blue-eyed woman. Tried to joke with him and share parts of herself, and looked at him with nervous eyes, waiting, assessing him, like the doctors used to, like Superman did, like the Justice League did. What powers did he have? How did he act? How was he different? But then he blinked, looked in her blue eyes. Wait, she wasn't assessing him. She was waiting for his assessment, looking for some kind of recognition, the hope of acceptance, reaching out for kinship, hoping he would take the hand she stretched out. Was this how he looked at Superman? Looking for recognition of his actions, hoping for acceptance, for family? Reaching out a hand to be lifted out of the isolation he had been born into? But he wasn't the one reaching out a hand. It was another clone, who seemed to have a good relationship with her original, who looked at him like he was a gift. He'd seen Superman look at John that way. Con didn't know what was going on, any more than he did at the beginning of his call to Tim, but he wanted this. It wasn't selfish to want to know more, right? To want to take the hand offered to him? I'm Con. Her eyes sparkled with unbridled joy, and she grinned widely. I'm Ellie, and she took his hand. Alright guys, and that is the end of chapter 6 of Who's Old Now by Lyra Buzwavi. I hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you in the next chapter.